Well, I ended up at physician's hearing because I lost one of my hearing aids. I was on a hike in Death Valley with a group of people, and the wind kicked up, and I grabbed for my hat, and my hearing aid flipped out of my ear and went down a cliff. So there I was, no hearing aid and unable to hear people, and it's very critical because we were on a narrow path, and I decided it was time to get new hearing aids. So what I was looking for was one professional person that I could deal with, and not a huge staff of people that would interview me about my medical history and waste my time. So I was looking to deal with one person who would get to know me, and I would get to know her, and then each time I came, we wouldn't have to relive the previous experience. We'd just move on from where we were. And that's what I was looking for, and I was looking for hearing aids that wouldn't fall out of my ears. The other ones I had were so bad that I only wore one because I couldn't keep track of two, because they both would start falling out of my ears or they'd be halfway out. And that kind of defeats the purpose of having hearing aids if you're not going to wear them. So my visits here have been very successful, and I'm really satisfied with the Starkey hearing aids I've got. Number one, they stay in my ears. They're built differently, they're more comfortable. I don't feel them moving around, and they work great. The other thing that for me is really important is to be able to use them all the time. If you take your hearing aids out when you're on the beach, or I'm on my bicycle, or going for a walk, because they whistle, you might as well not have hearing aids. So the Starkeys don't do any of those things. I've kind of given them the acid test by riding my motorcycle with my hearing aids, my bicycle, on the beach, on Lido Beach. There's no whistling. The water sounds normal, like you would think water would sound. And we got to this point because these hearing aids have a number of settings, so you can tune them exactly the way that you want them, and you can go through that system here. It's like a laboratory where you can see where your hearing is strong and weak, and you can test them out to make sure that they're exactly what you want. And I'm really particular, so I wanted hearing aids where music would sound like music, and instead of noise, it sounds like the cymbals or the different instruments. So I'm really pleased that I feel normal with my hearing aids. They're perfectly tuned just the way I want them, and it takes a little bit of practice on both ends to get them that way, but that's like everything else. It takes a little bit of fine-tuning to get it just the way you want it. So it's been a really good experience for me. One thing I was really worried about was hearing conversations. If you're hearing every other word, you might miss the time you're supposed to be somewhere, or the person's name, and you feel like you're out of touch. So we tested my hearing here at Physician's Hearing, so that I kind of was tested in listening to people talking and being able to understand what they were saying. Every word, not every other word. And in the supermarket and on airplanes and places where it's really hard to hear, I found that everything comes in loud and clear. Especially what I was missing before was female voices. So I'd have to kind of point my ear at somebody and then watch their mouth move and then try to guess what they said. And it's maybe 50-50, and now it's normal. I look normal. I'm not tilting my ears towards people, and I can hear the important words. And in fact, really, I don't think about that anymore. It just happens.